This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another episode of Heel Talk, brother. We're here, and I'm with my mega power brother, Soapy Muffin. How you doing there, brother?
Oh yeah, I'm doing all right.
The mega powers, brother. We're gonna come in and we're gonna smoke you up real good, brother. We're gonna put you on the grill like some Polish sausage or some hamburgers, and we're gonna flip you left and right, brother.
God, every time I hear sausage, I just think of the video where the guy dressed up as I forget who it is.
Ask me about my wiener. That one?
Not even
From
that
Accepted?
guy. It's like I forget who the guy's dressed up as because it's not the actual person. They mentioned something about sausage, like let's talk about butter sausage, and like it's just I forget who it is. Someone out there has to know the video. There's no way I'm the only human being who knows this video.
So this is a Mandela effect. You're the only one that remembers this video. You are from that timeline.
I'm misremembering it. He never said butter sausage in the video at all.
He said butterscotch. That's what he said. It was butterscotch, not butter sausage. But welcome into Heel Talk, the wrestling podcast of MVP, right here on MVP Entertainment. I'm joined with Soapy Muffin. We do what we do each and every 2 weeks. I almost said each and every week, every 2 weeks. And we talk some wrestling here for you. Got some good things on the docket. We talked about Mercedes Moné. What were you going to say?
I figured out it's Gary Busey. It's the video where someone dresses up as Gary Busey, and he keeps yeah. Sorry, keep going.
I don't remember that.
I literally had to look up buttered sausage to find the video.
Well, now I'm going to figure out where I'm at. Quick housekeeping. Discord, if you're not in it, Grace Community down below. If you want to support us, Patreon, that's down below. Like button, sub button down below. And, comment down below because that's what you do. But Soapy, before I ask you what we're talking about today, there was one thing we forgot to mention last show. And that is that there's a little bit of a rivalry starting in the wrestling universe. Somebody out there was paid to start this rivalry. But not going to say paid by who. But
well, to be fair, for a while it was a one-sided rivalry.
It was a one-sided rivalry. But Soapy now has a challenger that has entered the arena, and I'm not going to say the name, Soapy. I know you have the little small clip that we are allowed to play. We can't play the whole video because we can't use it for commercial use. But let the people know who's picking a bone with Soapy Muffins recently.
Shout out to anyone who recognizes this voice, by the way.
Well, Soapy Muffin.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to say who it is. I'll ask you. Do we tease it here, let them comment down below who it is, and we find out next podcast? Or do we just tell them who it is right now?
Oh, let's let them figure it out. Okay,
so let us know who you think that is. If you know that voice, because let's be honest, he's not, he's well known, but like, he's not like super.
I was gonna say he's pretty well known.
He's pretty well known. But yeah, let's just say, we might have some pulled strings. We might have to have a podcast. One day I don't show up and it's just like, we just have this guy pop in and you have to do a podcast with him. That's just you guys together.
That'd be such a train wreck.
I'll be completely honest. If we ever got him on the show, that's how I would pitch it to him. Like, hey, usually it's Soapy and I'm not going to be there that day. It's just going to be you and Soapy, and that's going to be the podcast. Or I let you do like 10 minutes, sweat it out, and then I come in, and it's like, okay, it's a normal podcast. But what
I was going to say, you know how awkward that would be? I just get thrown to the wolves, like, all right, figure out how to talk to him.
It would be the best. Dude, Soapy, you used to study how to be a wrestler. We're shooting you in right into promo class. Right into the promo.
Yeah, throwing me right in.
Push you in. Go ahead.
Throw me in the deep end.
Have a heated promo with him. At least it's not The Rock. But what we're really talking about is we got some AEW, some WWE news. We're going to start in the world of WWE here because so what sparked this in my head, Soapy, is I saw a tweet today from, I believe he's one of your favorite in the wrestling Twitterverse. And I say that sarcastically because, correct me if I'm wrong, Elite Rockers, you are not a huge fan of, right?
No.
Yeah. So go ahead.
For context, for anyone who doesn't know, I constantly complained about the internet wrestling community. Specifically the extreme tribalistic fans on both sides. Like, mind you, mostly just because they're all annoying. Don't be a tribal weirdo. Just be, like, that's the opposite of Roman at that point. And he's the tribal chief. Don't be the tribal weirdo.
Yeah. There was one reel I saw on Instagram that made me laugh where it's like wrestling fans. And this guy's watching Disney on Ice and he goes, what is this? Look at this. Disney can't even sell this. They have to tarp off that area. Dude, Disney's done. Disney's going out of business. Dude, they're over. They're done with. But they can't even sell out the house here. And it's just like POV wrestling fans be like.
Yeah, well, there's that. There's also the other one. It's like a South Park clip of when like they're playing when they're playing their fantasy game or whatever. I forget what they call it. And they're walking by and they put like a bunch of WWE faces on like the main cast and they walk by and they're like, what are you losers doing?
We're playing AEW All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, and it's like the fact that there's people even under that video that don't understand, it's making fun of both.
Yeah.
Because it's one group of losers calling another group losers. We're all losers. Oh. I hate to tell you. If you're a fan of either company, I hate to break it. Welcome to being a loser.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling fans in general, we're our own unique breed. It's like here's an example, Soapy. And wrestling fans will like this is a conversation that happened before we started the podcast. I told you about a wrestling shirt that I want to buy. You said, "Man, I'd wear that." My girlfriend, who is not a wrestling fan, I told her about it. So I'm like, hey, would you judge me if I bought a pink shirt that said I'm hot on the front and Toodles on the back? She's like, absolutely, I would judge you. But guess what? It's Tiffy time, so we don't care. Tiffy time.
It's always Tiffy time.
Me and my homies stand for Tiffy time. We love it. But
me and my homies always know it's Tiffy time.
We always know it's Tiffy time. But the thing we're looking at here, Soapy, is I saw a tweet from him, and it kind of irked me. I felt personally attacked by it, even though it was not about me. It said, Damian Priest is a world champion, and it had 4 pictures. Alberto Del Rio is champion. Jack Swagger is champion. The Great Khali is champion. And you can't hinder the gender as WWE champion. Dude, this really upset me because I'm like, am I the only one in the wrestling universe that believes that, one, Damian should have a successful cash-in? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, just let him fail the cash-in. Doesn't matter. Get the briefcase off from him. Or the small, I think Jake is in this, where it's like, ooh, let Finn screw him. And then stuff with that, where I'm like, no, don't complicate it with that. Am I the only one that thinks he can cash in, be successful, and have a decent title reign as heavyweight, let's be honest, heavyweight champion before he eventually loses it?
Yeah, I'll definitely say I am on the opposite side of you of this. Of like, I will preface, I really do like Damian. Mm-hmm. My thing is, though, when I just look at him, and to be honest, I know people are going to be like, this is a cop-out answer. Like, I'm not trying, like, people will say I'm not trying to give an actual answer. But to me, when I look at him, I don't see world champion material. And like, I'm not trying to say that in a mean way. It's like just the way he's presented of where, like, I'm trying to find a way to explain it in like the right way of like,
he's overshadowed by Mommy.
Yeah, well, he's overshadowed by Mommy. Realistically, they've kind of had him playing second fiddle to Finn for a while now.
Yeah, but that's kind of changed recently.
Yeah, I mean, everyone plays second fiddle to Mommy at this point. Yeah. Like, everyone in that group is second and third fiddle.
But, like, I'm saying, like, recently it seems like Finn's kind of taken the back seat even in their tag team.
Yeah. Where it's my thing when it comes to that is just to, like, I look at it this way of where Damian is currently at, I don't view him as a guy who could be, like, a long-term world champion. If he's a champ for a month or two, fine. Fine with that. But I don't think, like, oh, like, he could be a year-long title reign. Because the main thing is, and Because I agree with what Jake said about it.
Mm-hmm.
Of where Jake said that for Money in the Bank, I mean, mind you, I also varied from you guys from Money in the Bank. I think they should just get rid of it at this point.
Dude, it's my favorite. That and the Rumble are my two favorite pay-per-views.
Well, I mean, hey, we then massively disagree because I really don't like Money in the Bank.
I love Money in the Bank.
Like, because I agree with Jake in the sense of where when Jake had said, like, they need to start putting the briefcase on people that are, like, actual main eventers. Of, like, for instance, like, someone like Drew should have it, LA Knights. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm also much lower in Sammy than a lot of you guys are. Like, I like Sammy. Like,
he could have had his Kofi moment, but it got overshadowed by Cody.
Yeah. Or it's just, it's one of those situations of, he was the guy that I think it's flash in the pan, like he's good for the roster, but like not tippity top.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he and Damian, I think, are the same sort of way. Like, I think I would massively change my perception on Damian if he was doing something more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because the problem is right now, to me, I think Judgment Day has gotten incredibly stale. Because I think at this point of we're starting to see Tom and Rhea not interact on TV anymore. Obviously, that's for people on the internet being weirdos and actually harassing Buddy Murphy about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Buddy literally could be like, "Hey, Rhea, go be a star in Australia," and everyone's like, Dom's piping your girl, right? Like half of the comments are that. It's like, you guys know the fact that that's not real.
Kayfabe does not, like, it's fake. Wrestling is fake, guys. Like,
it's people are just
you bring up a good point though that I want to say with the Judgment Day. To me, if Damian or Damian is going to cash in, to me the first thing you got to figure out is, what are you doing with Judgment Day? Are you breaking them up or are you keeping them together? Because there's a part of me that goes, if you're keeping them together, have him win on a cash-in at Mania, we hold all the gold. Do that shtick again. If you're having them break up, though, I can also see, let him cash in, because then it creates a power struggle where it'll be the first time, like, if you have it to where Finn and Damian night one lose their tag team belts to, I'm going to say DIY because that's what I would want. So DIY wins the tag belts. Then you have Mommy night one lose her title. Night two, Damian cashes in, takes the heavyweight title. There's a power shift within that stable now. For the first time, Rhea doesn't hold the gold and somebody else does. So there's a part of me that goes, you can go either way. Plus the thing I'm thinking about, if he cashes in on that heavyweight title, there is beef between Drew and Judgment Day. Drew has said this is his moment. This is the WrestleMania that he didn't get at 36 because there were no fans. If Damian comes in there and steals that moment from him, there's your feud. There's your feud that you can carry all the way to August. Bash at Berlin, and that's where I would have Drew take the title off of Damian, at Bash in Berlin in late August.
Yeah, I definitely think that, I think the main crux of this entire thing is going to end up coming down to how are they going to manage Judgment Day. Because I think you may have been there for the conversation, because I know I was having it with Jake. And I don't remember who all else was there. Where I said, I'm like, I personally don't think Judgment Day benefits almost anyone in that group anymore. I think Dominic is the only person that it benefits. Because JD, let's be real here, they've turned him into a joke. I'm actually disgusted with how they've treated that man. But like, because one, let's be real here, the best part of Judgment Day right now is R-Truth, and it's just because he's funny.
Do you think they're going to do the thing that everyone thinks they're going to do, where it's like Awesome Truth wins the tag belts at Mania off of Judgment Day?
I think so. I think that's what they're
Am I the only one that doesn't want that?
Oh, no, I don't want it either.
Okay.
Mostly because I am very anti-nostalgia when it comes to wrestling. Let's be completely honest here. I'm at the point of where, like, I love R-Truth. I love him. I'll miss him when he retires. He's also, what, 52 years old?
Yeah. Doesn't look it,
I don't
though.
need him being a tag champ. I mean, yeah, he doesn't move like it.
He
Like,
doesn't look it either. He looks young.
Yeah. Like, that's what I mean, though, of where he's at the point of where it's like, okay, like, I was fine with him being the comedy spot guy, because that's what he's really good at. Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, personally, I don't want to see that. I think that's what they're going to do. And, like, I just think that after this Mania, start taking Judgment Day apart. And it's just because the fact of, I think it handicaps what Rhea can do. Because I also think it's for the longest time, when you had her attached to Dominic's hip, that's why Rhea's title fit. If I could speak English, good. I think that's why Rhea's title reign has been really meh. And it's because the fact of most of the time, she's not feuding within the women's division. She's feuding within the men's. Because anytime that someone goes to feud with Dom, realistically, they're actually feuding with Rhea.
Speaking of that, though, I know that I read it somewhere that Rhea made a comment that, like, she could win, that she would like to win a men's title, a la like China did. I really hope they don't do that, where like she wins the IC title or wins the heavyweight championship. Like, I really don't want to see, like, the Attitude Era was different. It's where we like did stupid things like that. I don't want that to happen. And like what you said is spot on. What are you going to do at Judgment Day? I'm going to ask you, though. I'm going to put you in the Booker booth. You're now Triple H. Let's say Damian cashes in at WrestleMania and is successful. That's where your booking decision starts. How far do you have his feud go? Do you have it go till Backlash? So a month? Do you have it go until July and Money in the Bank? Do you have it go to late September, or not late September, late August and Bash in Berlin, or past that? Those are your four choices.
I would say, and now this is just with how, because I'm going to tie in him losing the title with Judgment Day falling apart.
Yep.
I would have it that it's Money in the Bank, so he gets at least a 2-month reign. I would have it that the way that they break up is that Dominic accidentally costs him the title. In some way, shape, or form, either Dom or Finn, whether by accident or purpose, however you want to book it. I mean, I would probably do on accident for Dom, because then that explains, like, okay, like, why would Priest would be pissed, because obviously he lost his belt. And then it would be, the group kind of having to, try to reconvene, like, which they kind of did at one point. I forget exactly why it was happening, of, like, half the group hated each other, half of them didn't. Because I know they did the whole thing where, like, I think the main part of it was when Finn kept fighting Seth for, like, 5 weeks in a row, and I got tired of seeing it. And Damian kept teasing that he would come out and do something, and he never did. Because I sometimes question if Damian remembers you can cash in the thing sometimes.
Yeah.
But, like, they kept doing the whole thing of where it's, like, the Judgment Day started to fracture apart, and then Rhea had to bring them back together.
I'll be honest, I thought he was going to cash in at Survivor Series. They got me there.
Yeah, I mean, I think just with him cashing in, if he wins, which realistically, I mean, probably will happen, I think having it so he is the fundamental reason why they fall apart. Because the fact that obviously, they finally got what they were going for this entire time.
Yeah.
Like, they hold, like, the title, even though realistically no one really cares about the title. But, like, they hold the title. So, like, they're super important again, guys. Look. Look at them. Like, they're doing oh so good. And when he loses it, like I said, I would have it that he loses because of either Finn or Dominic. Don't do JD. If you make JD the scapegoat,
well,
I have some mean things to say to you, Mr. Levesque.
I have an idea that just popped into my head, and I want to hear what you think of this. And this kind of goes into what you said you want and what Jake has told us when we've talked to him about it. So Damian cashes in at WrestleMania. He's the champ. Your feud at Fastlane is Drew Damian. I give Damian a successful match win, a successful defense. Feud's not over. Drew's not going away. Money in the Bank. This is where it's like, if I beat you again, you're done. What I would have happen, Judgment Day can get involved, and this person's group can also get involved. Gunther wins money. Gunther wins Money in the Bank. He would lose the IC title at Mania. He wins Money in the Bank earlier in the night. He cashes in. He takes that away from Drew. Boom, you get Gunther Drew for the title at Bash at Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you could do something like that.
Or is that, let's be honest, is that Drew too much?
I do think that kind of does Drew pretty dirty. I definitely think that, like, I think Gunther will be champion for quite a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's just going to keep going until fans finally start getting bored of his title reign.
I think he's a favorite to win the Rumble next year, and then...
Oh, absolutely. He should be. If I see
Homelander win it... story first.
If Homelander wins it again, I swear.
Well, if Cody doesn't finish the story this year, then Cody's going to win it a third year, be the first one ever to win it 3 years in a row, and then finish the story.
And because Cody has so much adversity going against him, right, guys? You know, winning Royal Rumble 3 times. It's not like his own brother is
tired of this.
Yeah, it's not like everyone and their brother is tired of this already.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that I would... Like, I don't mind that. The only thing is, though, Gunther doesn't strike me as a, like, oh, I'm going to cash in. He strikes me as the way that, like, that Big E did it, of where he's like, no, I'm not going to cheat it. No, I'm using this to actually get a match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how, if Gunther wins it, I could see, obviously, I don't even know if he'll be in it. I mean, WWE is such a...
No, Big E didn't do that. Big E cashed in after Bobby Lashley, because I have it here, it says... defeated Bobby Lashley after a big ending to win the championship after Lashley had successfully defended the title against Randy. It was on Raw.
Who am I thinking of then? Is it
Austin
New
Theory?
Shall Not Be Named?
Yeah, it's Austin Theory.
Is it Theory? Is Theory the last one?
No. He used it.
No, Theory cashed in afterwards.
Yeah, curb stomped following attack. Wait. Theory was defeated by defending Seth Rollins after a curb stomp following attack at the ring. I think it might have been Austin Theory, because he might have been like, hey, I want a title against Seth, and then Bobby got involved, speared him, curb stomp. I have it here. Brock's was so Seth and Becky had that mixed match challenge against Lacey and Baron, where whoever won both titles were to move, because Seth and Becky were champs. He hit an F5 on Seth after that match and took it at Extreme Rules.
Okay.
Braun Strowman was the match with The Fiend with Mick Foley as the special guest referee, where Roman came out, and that's where we got the first image of what the tribal chief would be.
Oh yeah, that's when Roman came out with he just had a contract to get the title, because, man, continuity is something. But yeah, no, Gunther strikes me as he would use the briefcase to actually just get the match with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gunther does not strike me as oh, well, like, I'm gonna wait till you're hurt to beat you. He's like, no, I'm just gonna beat the crap out of you. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird situation with Damian,
mm-hmm.
because the problem is when Damian first got called up,
mm-hmm.
I was way higher than Damian than I am now.
Well, and he had the Bad Bunny match, and they were like really high on him. Hey, let's reward him for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. To me, I look at it this way of, like, I appreciate, them acknowledging that, Damian Priest did a really good job with Bad Bunny, made him look incredible, and gave us a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing when it comes to that, though, is, was it really worth them being like, you get Money in the Bank, which is something that, like, could elevate you to that next level, but realistically, you're not really done anything to get to that level yet. Like, that's my thing of where it's like when I'm talking about like him first getting called up is like even pre-Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So like I think it was what he was IC champ,
US.
ICUS, whatever
US.
Yeah. Like when he first got that and he first got called up with the Archer Infamy gimmick and he had all of that stuff, I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, you have a solid building block to build off of. You know, let's keep it. Sorry, I keep burping like no one's business today. I'm real gassy. Yeah, sorry, I had to say it like that for anyone who doesn't know. I had to cover my mouth like twice to tell myself I'm burping.
It was the United. So on the main roster, he's been U.S. champ, 2-time Raw champ, tag team, 2-time SmackDown tag team, and then NXT North American.
Yeah. So like, that's the thing. Is to me, I think, and like mind you, overall, I don't mind the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, the Judgment Day to me has only benefited Rhea.
Well, they've run their course.
Yeah, they've ran the course of like you can't have the 5 million matches against Edge anymore because he's not there.
Yeah,
like you already kind of sailed the ship on Finn being champ because he kept losing every time he had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Damian's really the only other one, and every time he's had an actual match, he keeps losing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so this is a group of losers, aside from Rhea. Like, it's the thing I don't like the WWE does with the Money in the Bank when they give it to the kind of mid-card talent, is they just book them to be losers, then all of a sudden they win the title.
Well, yeah, and
because
I'll say this, like, you look at the last ones, Austin Theory, first off, anybody who cashes in on a mid-card title, you're stupid. You're stupid. Like, no, you go for the main title. That's why you win the dang thing. Austin Theory, humiliated. Big E, though, very strong in his cash in. Then I hate how Wikipedia puts The Miz, because we're erasing out of history that Otis had won it. And then they didn't know, what we're going to do with Otis. So let's do something weird. So we put it on The Miz so that we can have him be the champion after he cashed in on Drew McIntyre. And then you had Brock Lesnar before that. Before that was Braun Strowman, who completely got screwed out of his. Baron Corbin, another mid-carder, didn't cash in successfully. I'll ask you, in 2016, would you have counted Dean Ambrose as a mid-carder or a main dude?
By that point, it was mid-card, but that's also because they fumbled the bag with him.
Because he did cash in on Seth. So that's your first mid-carder that successfully cashed in? The rest of them, Baron, Braun, Austin, Otis, either got the briefcase taken away or failed?
Yeah, it's just the problem of, this is why you don't put it on mid-card talent. Because the fact mid-card talent is in the mid-card for a reason. Like, because to be honest, I mean, like I said, with Dean was kind of I word it this way, he was like prime Dolph Ziggler. In the sense of where prime Dolph was either mid-card or main title, whatever you needed him to do that week. Like, that's kind of where Dean was hanging out at. This is pre him getting his absolute stupid gimmick, which one of these days we have to do an episode about just stuff we absolutely hate in wrestling. Because the end of Dean's, like, I am dead serious.
The mask, like, the gas mask?
Not even just that. The fact that genuinely...
I forget that existed.
Like, the fact that they took Dean, who, by the way, like, mind you, Seth is still the best member of the Shield, by far. It's not close. Like, Prime Seth is by far better than the rest of these guys. Like, making that crystal clear.
Yeah.
By the time the Shield broke up, because by that point, like, once, like, the Shield was, I mean, I can't say broke up for the final time, because the Shield reassembles like the Avengers when there's a problem. AKA when Triple H shows up, they're like, guys, we have to get involved.
We have to get involved.
We have to put our differences aside to beat up Triple H's team. But like, sorry, I'm not going to go on that rant. As much as I want to, I don't want to go on that rant about how they did Dean so dirty. However, going back to Damian, to me, I think Damian's going to fall into that same category of like people have already started to cool off on Damian.
Mm-hmm.
People are already tired of the Judgment Day. Of where it's just like, okay, cool. Like if he wins the belt, yippee! We go to a champ that like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Seth tries to elevate the title, and the title just went down in value a lot more.
Well, you know what else I thought? Because so everyone that's thinking Damian's gonna cash in. It's like, oh, he's gonna cash in at WrestleMania because that's the big moment. First off, do we want to step on Drew's moment?
I mean, they probably will.
No. I'm asking you. Would you want to avoid that because you wouldn't want to step on Drew's moment? Like, what's more important, letting Drew having the moment or having Damian step on it because that creates maybe a better story?
I think it's just give Drew his moment.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I look at it this way: of Drew was robbed of that moment, due to the pandemic. It's let Drew get the moment. I know people would be like, "Oh, it's a better story. It's a better story." There's at a point the story has to take a back seat to just let Drew have it.
Well, but you could also do this, and this is why I'm thinking maybe WrestleMania is not the right spot. Let Drew have his moment. He beats, Seth Rollins for the title. We finally get our second world heavyweight champion. Well, not really second, but you know what I mean. He can defend it at Backlash. He can Money in the Bank. This is where it comes interesting because you can do that thing where it's like, hey, Damian, you got until Saturday to cash in, or you have until Saturday to cash in.
Like, you have until the end of Saturday to cash in?
Yeah, they could play that up.
Or isn't it, if I remember correctly, it's you have till the end of the men's Money in the Bank match to cash it in.
Yeah, and
I swear,
and what they
random thing.
1 second. What they could do is have the men's match be the main event, have Drew defend the title. Hell, even if it's against Gunther, if that's the first one, Damian comes in, cashes in. You can give him a success, and then you can say, all right, triple threat, Damian, Gunther, Drew at Bash in Berlin, and that's where one of those win it off of Damian. Give him a success, you get a triple threat at Bash at Berlin, and then you could do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to put the absolute,
go ahead,
the annoying way that I know that they've probably thought of doing. Damian cashes in his Money in the Bank to win the briefcase again because he cashes in the middle of the match.
It was the first ever.
Doesn't make it good.
By the way, I mentioned it. Do you honestly think they should do the thing where Finn screws him and the contract is never in there and Finn has the contract the whole time?
I don't think they should do that way. I think it should be during his cash-in, one of the members of the Judgment Day accidentally screw him over.
Mm-hmm. So you want a failed cash-in?
Yeah, I lean more failed cash-in, mostly because I look at it this way. I think everyone in the Judgment Day is better without the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I mean, like, Dom's already starting to get better than the entirety of Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Dom was by far the worst member when he first joined. Like, I need people to remember how bad Dom was when he first joined.
Mm-hmm.
Dom couldn't do a 619 because he tried to act like his dad.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, Dom can actually wrestle now.
Because he realized I'm not as short as my dad.
Yeah, I'm not 5'4" and a member of the Lollipop Guild.
Rey Mysterio's shorter than 5'4", right?
No, he's like 5'7" or something like that. He just looks really short because everyone around
I'm
him
only
is
an
really
inch taller than Rey. I thought he was shorter than me. Oh, no, that's a reality check for me, Soapy. I am short.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing when you think about it in basketball. Isaiah Thomas is what, like 5'10"?
Oh.
Like, he just looks really short because everyone around him tall. It's the same thing with
How tall is
Ray.
Dom?
Like 6 foot, I think.
He's 6'1". Oh, he's so much taller than me.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's people don't realize, like, we think they look short until you see them around other people, and it's like, oh, holy crap, they're really tall.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, to me, I think it's they need to use Damian's failed cash-in to accentuate the guys. All right, we're moving past Judgment Day. We don't need him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because, to be honest, I think, and this is my genuine opinion about the entirety of the time we've had Judgment Day, I think Finn has been dragged down tremendously with it.
He's a side act.
Because the fact of, yeah, well, he's become a side act. It's the fact of when Finn first joined, like, mind you, realistically, he was never getting back to the level he was at when he first got called up.
Yeah.
Like, let's be crystal clear there. We were never getting that Finn again.
Well, let's be honest. NXT Finn Balor was baller.
Yeah. Like, we're never getting NXT Finn Balor on the main roster. Also because, one, he also doesn't really want to do the Demon anymore, which sucks. But
well, he didn't
fair.
even do the Demon the second time. He did the Prince because he had the jacket with the red X on it.
Yeah. But, like, no, I'm talking about, like, just for general,
you're talking
like,
original
cool
NXT.
factor. Yeah. Of, like, I mean, just even Finn in general. Of the last time we saw the Demon, he got beat because the ring blew up.
Was that the Fiend?
No, that was against Roman. Because remember, that's when they did the weird thing where, like, the heartbeat started when he was laying on the outside and he got up.
Yeah.
And then he got on the top rope and it just fell off.
Yeah, he slipped. Oh,
we're like,
I remember that. That was
just
so
like,
bad.
What happened?
Oh, that
Which
was
I
so
love, by the way, that
bad.
people kept trying to be like, that was a storyline. No, I guarantee the rope just broke.
Yeah. No,
And everyone's
was...
like, guys,
oh,
what's the reason it broke? It's like, because it broke.
because it broke.
It's like, I don't... Anyone out there that has ever put together a ring, rings fall apart so easy. It is actually insane how easy it is for a ring to fall apart.
Well, you got to be able to easily take the turnbuckle off if you need to during a match.
I mean, yeah, of course. It's got to be Chekhov's corner. You never know which corner is the one that could break.
I got a question for you. Take the mid-card titles, push them to the side, because I think crapshoots for each of those. Each of the main singles titles that we know of right now, Roman Cody, Io Bailey, Rhea Becky, Seth Drew. I'm going to be completely honest, Soapy. I agree with the crowd that is saying every one of these titles, I think, will change hands at Mania.
I don't think every one of them will.
Which
I think
one
most
doesn't?
of them will. I think Rhea's doesn't.
Yeah, that's... How do you tell that? Like, what? I was thinking about this today with that one, because that's the one where I'm like, well, Rhea would keep it. How do you tell? So right now the story is Becky needs to prove she's the best by beating the best. Where does Becky go if she then loses to Rhea? Well, I'm not the best. I suck. And then that's the end of it.
Well, no, I mean, you kind of give that almost for like the first time in a long time makes her the underdog. Because realistically, it could be, you know, like she underestimated Rhea. She went into it way too confidently. Because, I mean, she's been the one trash talking Rhea this entire time. Like, Rhea's just been like, you're washed. Like, go away. Yeah. And she's been like, I'm going to show mommy what it's like to be on bottom this time. And it's just like, you know, with doing that, it's like, oh, she's going into it super confidently of where I almost think this will add, like, a humbling aspect to the man character of, like, I am beatable.
I like the way you're going with this. And then Tiffany Stratton, we get Tiffy time in Toronto, and she cashes in on Rhea Ripley. Tiffy time, baby.
I mean, hey, if we continue the trend of how women's Money in the Bank cash-ins go, it is the same night every time, without fail.
Tiffy time, though, would be strapping a mega rocket to her. It'd be someone like Liv, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, probably.
I'm thinking someone maybe who's been around a while who deserves the rub.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still at the point of where, like, I'm way lower in a lot of wrestlers than a lot of people are. The more I think about it,
yeah,
I'm the same way with Liv. Of like, I don't mind Liv. I think she's fine. But like, like, doesn't do it for me.
So like, here's the thing. If Becky doesn't win it, you got your Money in the Bank. Obviously, you'll get like wrestlers from both sides. If we're looking at the female wrestlers, like, are you going to put it on an Asuka? Are you going to put it on a Bianca? Does Charlotte come back by Toronto? Is she cleared by Toronto and she wins? I mean,
probably. At this point, she's standing in wrestling rings and running around like.
Could you imagine if she came like the
Captain
back,
America Super Serum?
If she came back, won Money in the Bank, and then cashed in on Rhea?
I genuinely think the internet would actually blow up. Not for a positive reason, but they'd be like, there's no actual shot that Charlotte just did it again.
Let's be honest, that would be funny, though. The reason why it would be funny, well, not funny, but interesting, is if you both have Rhea and Bayley as champ by that time, and Charlotte wins Money in the Bank, it legitimately creates a which way does Charlotte want to go? Does Charlotte want to go the way of, because her and Bayley have history? Charlotte was the one that Bayley won the title off of, or snapped on when Bayley turned into her heel persona, which she's kind of still in now, which she's basically coming out of, or Rhea Ripley, who Charlotte and Rhea have WrestleMania beef with and have history together.
Yeah, I definitely think don't put it on Charlotte. Like, and the only reason is just because everyone's tired of Charlotte at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let Charlotte
Plus,
kind of play backseat.
Vince is not at the helm.
Well, I mean, even to that, people also got to remember though, Triple H also booked Charlotte like an absolute star.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's not like like he just hates Charlotte. Like, realistically, what I think they should start to do, and I can actually kind of tie this back into Damian a little bit.
Go ahead.
With Charlotte, just have her take a backseat for a while. Yeah. She doesn't need to be a champion the second she comes back. Like, use her to start elevating other people talent. Because realistically, because realistically, the part of the reason I think Becky's gonna lose is because the fact of I think Rhea losing to Becky is basically just kind of that big middle finger to the young talent.
Yeah.
Of like, no, like, yeah, you guys can be good and all and be way bigger stars than these guys. The 4 horsewomen still run everything.
You know,
this is their show.
You know who would be and I say this unironically, like I said it before. You know who would be my first feud for Charlotte, and it would put over a young talent, and it makes sense? Tiffy time. Because of the whole thing where she's even said that, like, literally you look at her and she's like a clone of Charlotte. Like, she looks like Charlotte Light, and she has said that, like, she got into wrestling because of watching Charlotte Flair. So, like, to me, that's your storyline right there. The up and comer, nothing like Charlotte could be like, you're never gonna be me. You think you're like me, you're not. You're never gonna touch the queen. Like, you give Tiffany some losses in the sense of like, hey, this road on the main roster ain't going to be all cupcakes, but at the end of the feud, Tiffany wins and catapults her into, hey, I'm one of the big stars here on the main roster.
Yeah, I think with Tiffany, it's wait a little bit, let her continue to gain traction.
Yeah.
Because the fact of obviously the fans already love Tiffany.
And this wouldn't be until after July, maybe even like keep Charlotte out until like the latter of this year into Rumble season. Well, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I don't know. Charlotte's always gonna come back way earlier than she should. Like, I think it's just the reason that I think that Becky's gonna lose, and that when Charlotte comes back, she's not gonna immediately be in the title picture, is because I think they do want to start conditioning fans of being like, hey, the 4 horsewomen are not going to be around forever.
Yeah. Well, one of them's gone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One of them's not there. We've heard one of them talk about retiring a couple times now, and Becky.
Is that Becky? Yeah.
Yeah. Charlotte, Charlotte just keeps getting hurt. Or it's like, okay, like, and I don't want to say age because obviously I know Charlotte's not that old. But, like, you know, you can start telling, like, okay, the injuries are starting to slowly catch up. Yeah, like, her durability, you can definitely tell she's not as durable as she used to be. Where it's like, I mean, she got hurt, doing the moonsault? Or was it getting ready to do the moonsault she got hurt? Or was that when she fell off the top rope and, like, hit her leg on the rope? Is that where she got hurt? I forget exactly the part that she got hurt at. But, like, it's realistically, they're getting to the point now where it's like, okay, like, they're not as durable as they used to be. I mean, Becky still can keep going.
So,
but, like, once again, like, we hear conversations of the retirement.
She was going to stand on the top rope. Asuka's got her. And then, yeah, that was it. So she was sitting on the top rope. Asuka went up to like do like the, you know, like the suplex that they do off the top rope. When Charlotte stood up on the rope, as they were getting, like, she lost balance, they pulled down and her leg like clipped the top rope. And it looked funny as she was coming down.
Yeah.
And then that's where she was like clutching her knee.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that's the thing. It's just
whoever filmed this, by the way, you can literally see her mouth when she leans back go, ow, 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 ow.
Well, I mean, yeah, that hurts.
I'm like, I've literally, I can lip read, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, it's like, I may not be great at lip reading. I can tell when people are hurt.
So, Soapy, we've talked a lot about Damian. Let's move into a little bit because I want to make sure we get to this before we end. Switching gears, going over to AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Revolution's coming up, isn't it? Next weekend?
Yeah.
Not this week, but next week?
This weekend.
Is it?
No, I think it is this week because the 3rd is Saturday, right?
You're right. So basically, everyone's gonna be listening to this the day after the day of Revolution. And so this is like a not predicting what will happen, but more of a greater conversation because of it. So I'm going to read the tweet that you put in on our rundown from Sean Ross Sapp, where it says, Fightful Select asked about Hangman Page's status after the injury scare on AEW Dynamite. One talent said he's just good at his job and said he was fine backstage. The whole reason this was brought up, AEW Dynamite happens. It looks like there's a knee injury to Hangman. You can hear him on the broadcast saying, don't shoot me to the camera guy. I watched the Wrestle Talk news about it the day after, where they were like, this could be a work, it could be a shoot. There were rumors of, well, he's got some personal life issues. I think his kid is sick. So like, this is a write out if he can't make the show and needs to miss the show and is not available for Evolution. Some people are like, no, he's actually injured. Soapy, the question you wanted to ask, and I'll ask you for your answer, is the dirt sheets, the reporters basically. Do they over-report? Are we over-reporting when it comes to wrestling?
Yes. Please, just stop. Like, this goes out to reporters. This goes out to wrestlers. Shut up. Just shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I know, for instance, we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about in the show. I wouldn't care. Honestly, I wouldn't. The thing that bothers me the most is the fact that it becomes like a situation of like everyone believed Hangman.
Yeah.
Where we're like, oh god, he's actually hurt. That sucks. Like, yeah, it shuts the people up on Twitter. They're like, AEW, everyone gets hurt in AEW. It shuts those people up.
Jesus.
But at the same time, you ready for it? If it turns out that he's not hurt, that just shows Hangman's good at wrestling. What? You mean to tell me that the guy everyone crapped on because of, like, his interaction with Punk is a good wrestler? Say it ain't so. Sorry, for context of why this type of stuff just annoys me, is I don't know if you read it. An absolute wall of text that I put in the wrestling chat that then I immediately followed it up with the I ain't reading all that.
So I didn't read that yourself?
No, that was because I literally put above it, get ready to mark down a swear. I was like, I'm putting this here before you kids do.
Yeah.
Because for anyone who doesn't know, that it's a thing I ended up starting in the Discord. If I did it to Retro.
You're the only one who does it, by the way. You're the only one I ever see use
Jake did it for a little bit.
Okay.
Jake did it for a little bit because we started doing it to Retro. Because for anyone who's in the Discord and they know Retro puts like these walls of text.
Especially about
we get
clippers.
walls of text. It is, you got to scroll to get past it. And just every time I just put the picture like, man, I ain't reading all that.
That's the what? The Keanu Reeves from Cyberpunk image?
Yeah, it's the man, I ain't reading all that. Man, I'm happy for you. Were sad that happened. Like, for instance, like I had put in there, like a lot of people just hate Hangman for that. Like they just hate Hangman for stuff that happened with Punk, which realistically, one, grow up, get over it. It's happened. It's over. Shut up. Yeah, you see what I mean when I said wall of text? Yeah, mind you, That was all initially going to be one paragraph, but Discord's like, no, you can't do that. That's not one message, buddy.
I love how, did you do this on your phone, by the way?
No.
After each one of 3, 2 of 3.
Yeah, no, I
did.
did. I did that when I was writing it out. I just never deleted it.
Oh, that's funny. I was like, was he afraid that one of us were gonna like interject? So he's like, this is the second part to it.
Yeah, no, it was. I wrote them all out first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just started copy and pasting them from like because I have a separate Discord that if I write massive amounts of wall text, that I just copy and paste it from there.
This is like,
But
I didn't know you could write this much, Soap. I've never seen you write this much.
I can write that much. The problem is I never talk that much on the Discord anyways.
Yeah.
Unless you get me started on a topic I'm passionate about, which is shutting people up, apparently. Yeah. I literally also, underneath my own picture of saying I ain't reading all that of them, like, that whole wall of text of me yapping is just saying stop the doom and gloom stuff with AEW.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the one thing I will say, and I'm going to come at this from a different side, the thing that I hate about the dirt sheets, and it kind of happened with CM Punk, the over-reporting that I hate is when it comes to the either over-speculation or like the I need to be right about... Now, let's be honest, I fall into this too. I was so happy when I was right about Punk. I told everyone, oh, he's showing up. Everyone doubted me, and it felt so good to be right. I didn't hear about it
until I went home, and I still heard about it when I went home.
It felt so good to be right. Soapy, I was so happy with myself. I edited, and everyone on Twitter saw it. I edited our segment going into the video that we took from the event. So yeah, let's just say I like being right. I get the appeal. But I feel like with the dirt sheets, it's like they want to know who's going to return exactly when, to where it's like when we talk, it's like I'll be like, oh, like I'll throw out this and it's complete fan speculation. And I'll get whether it's you or whether it's Dave or whether it's Jake, whether it's someone just, no. They already know when he's going to come. It's going to be here. It's like, but so we can't speculate on it anymore. We can't speculate on things now.
Yeah, like I fully agree. Like, mind you, I will say this: I am going to be on record. I don't hate Sean Ross Sapp. There are a few times where
I'm not saying I hate anybody, by the way.
Yeah, no, like I'm not. Yeah, we don't hate anyone here, aside from the person who sent me the message, who also got the second half of the message wrong, by the way.
Play it again for everyone. Let's hear that voice a second time.
Just a reminder.
Well, Soapy Muffin.
You know what's so weird? He sounds like a dude that I knew in real life. When I was a young little bound to be teacher, and I was learning the ropes. One of the schools I was working at, he sounds like the assistant director at that school, to where I'm like, is that you, Mr. R? But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, like it's, to me, like I get it's always going to be a thing, especially with social media presence and the fact that wrestlers talk. We're never going to really have a lot of surprises anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only way we'll ever have a surprise is literally if only 2 people know about it.
Yeah.
But like, because my thing is, and this is genuinely where I come from with this.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I say wrestlers need to shut up is because the fact of, realistically, the enjoyment of wrestling comes from, sometimes at least, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I can use a prime example of something that I felt like I was robbed of an actual genuine moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was about maybe 3-4 years ago or so at the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
When Edge came back. To me, like, obviously, I was happy to see Edge no matter what. Because I'm like, oh my god, little kid me is like, Edge is back, oh my god! But, like, sitting there afterwards, like, once the adrenaline of, like, oh my god, I actually get to see Edge in a ring again. That that kind of mindset of, like, imagine how much more excited I would have been if I didn't know he was. Yeah, if I didn't know he was going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is something that, obviously, I know people can be like, oh, just don't follow the dirt sheets. The problem is, if you're on Twitter and interact at all with wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
you see them. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, and obviously, I know it's the whole thing of like, people will bring it up of like, oh, like, well, a lot of AEW wrestlers do, which is also why that's my biggest critique of AEW. Of their wrestlers just need to shut up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I say it in the nicest way I can. Sometimes people just need to shut up.
You say
It happens in
it the
WWE.
nicest way.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's the nicest way I can tell you is just shut up, because
Mhm.
all you're doing is just taking the excitement away. Because it's like, okay, it takes the excitement of like the genuine surprise of someone showing up,
Mm-hmm.
and just replaces it with the excitement of I know they're gonna be there. And the only reason it bothers me to no end
Mm-hmm.
is the fact of I'd rather be surprised someone showed up than be like, oh well, I just know they're gonna be here because they said, oh well, this guy just so happened to be in the city.
And I mean, look at the CM Punk moment. Right there and then, how great that moment was. And like, I hate to say this. I know that he spoke about it recently and he said that like older him would be upset about it, but now he's a different person with Randy. I don't know if you saw that quote where he's like, older Randy would have got PO'd that like Punk came in and overshadowed my return because it was supposed to be a big thing. But like, now him who he is now is different. Like, hey, they're two different things, and it was still a great moment for him and everything. But it's like everyone's like, oh, we know Randy's coming back. Nobody knew Punk. Well, I knew Punk was coming back, but that's besides the point. Nobody knew Punk was coming back, to where it was like when it happened, even though I was like, I was right, I was still super excited because Soapy, I could say I knew for sure. I didn't know for sure. I was just very confident. I was blind confidence in myself.
It was like none of us knew.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, to me, that's what made it special. Like, mind you, I wasn't as excited as the rest of you guys, because I'll admit, I'm a self-admitted Punk hater. It has nothing to do with AEW stuff. Like, it's just, like, that's a whole separate thing. That's why every time...
Are you going to agree with, what is it, Luke Owen of Wrestle Talk, that the Steiner Math promo is a better promo than the pipe bomb?
Oh, absolutely. Iconic. One of those is planned and the other one isn't.
I will say, when he reasoned it and was like, whenever someone thinks about TNA, they think about Steiner Math, and it completely, like, I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. It is.
I hate to be the guy. It is more iconic. Like, we associate, the pipe bomb with being like this big F you Vince, and like we're pulling the curtain back from it being fake. And then Steiner Math is just like, I actually just watched a man fail at math live on TV.
You take my 33, my 33 to third chance, and your 33 to third chance. You put that together, that's 66 to third chance.
He knows he can't beat me.
I love how, what was his name? The little dude. What was his name?
Oh, Petey Williams.
Petey Williams. He's like sitting there going, he's counting on his.
Yeah, little Steiner is sitting there just counting on his fingers, trying to keep up with it. Like, genuinely, guys, even the math part is not the best part of it. Watch how confused everyone is in the promo. Because no one in there knows where he's going with this. Because
also,
you can tell Petey loses the script like 10 seconds in.
What about Scott and Bubba with the English?
Yeah. Big Booty Daddy was out English.
How many Big Booty Daddy? How many big English?
Yeah, because I got freaks 8 days a week. Scott, there's 7 days in a week.
7 days in a week.
Like, I need people to understand how iconic Scott Steiner promos are. Scott Steiner may be a kind of meh. He may be kind of in ring. That man is potentially the funniest, unintentional funny wrestler ever. Because there is no way you can tell me that someone can sit through Steiner Math and not find that to be like the funniest promo ever.
I'll be honest, I think Braun picked up on his delivery and his humor.
That's the thing. And Steiner Math runs through the genes of the family. if eventually
No,
Braun
I wasn't
has a
thinking
kid,
about you. I was
and-
thinking about us in the shower.
Yeah. Wolf Dogs. That's a bad name.
The
Oh,
Wolf
think about
Dogs.
it. 4 weeks. We've been a team for 2. It felt like it was longer.
It felt like it was longer.
like that's the thing. Like, but back to the dirt sheets.
Yeah.
As much as I love talking about Scott Steiner's promos,
Oh,
it's the reason I don't want to say can't stand, because, like, I admit, I actively look stuff up. I am a person of, like, I don't mind spoilers for the most part.
yeah.
But there are genuinely times of where, like, when I'm watching a wrestling event, I don't want to know the outcome of something. Like, Ricky has seen it firsthand. I have an uncanny ability to call the stuff that's going to happen in wrestling.
Especially if it's a Roman Reigns match.
Especially if it's Kevin Owens in an empty stadium. I know there's a golf cart coming.
Especially if it's a Solo Sequoia match.
Yeah, I know he's going to thumb someone.
Especially if Cody's in that match.
Yeah, I know if there's going to be interference from the bloodline, it's Solo's big ass is going to come out there in his sweatshirt, thumb someone, take the hoodie off like I couldn't tell it was Solo.
Gonna tell us
that
he hates Matt. Dude, we need Solo versus Braun so bad.
He needs to deactivate his Twitter. I need to see the I hate math tweets again and the IHOP tweets.
I hate math. Oh.
But no, this is, like, to me, I think it's one of those things of where there are times of where, like, I do like watching when companies mess with the beat writers. When, like, they'll tell them one thing, and you could realistically, you really
like how Trips
that was
did
never
with
gonna
CM
happen.
Punk. Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, well, like when Trips did with CM Punk, like WWE's the main one who does it. They always mess with the dirt sheets all the time. But, like, when they did the whole thing where people were like, "Oh, like Jay could win the match on Monday, or maybe not Monday. I forget exactly what day."
Apparently, he was scheduled to win that until 5 p.m. the day that Raw.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm
Do
like,
believe
okay,
it,
I'm like
though.
That's where I think they're messing with dirt sheets, because there's no way you have Gunther just lose the belt on a random Monday.
I'd be here for it. I'd be here for it.
I would also be here for it.
I miss the days where I could tune into a random Raw as a little boy and get a title change.
I just think it's the way they built Gunther up. It would not be a random Monday that he'd lose it. But, like, that's the thing. To me, I just enjoy, when there's surprises in wrestling. I like going into things without knowing it. As much as I also am a self-admitted person that will say, I look up spoilers for stuff. But it's just, to me, there are so many times of where, like, someone will do a storyline and I start getting interested. I'm like, oh, like, okay, what are you going to do with this? And then a report comes out, by the way, they faked that. That's not real. Like, just shut up. Shut up. Like, there are times where like, it didn't, like, it's not actually happening. Like, when they did the whole thing when it's like, Jay is leaving WWE, and it's like, oh my eyes, it's cooked. They're done. And then it's just, everyone's literally like, no, they're not. Like, that's not happening. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, literally, they were back the next week.
Like, let's be honest, the whole thing with Drew, where it's like, well, Drew's contract is not been, it's like, do you think they'd be letting him do half the stuff that he's doing if he wasn't re-signed or didn't have time added on because of injury? Like,
yeah, I definitely think, I think for a good chunk of the time, I do think that was an actual thing of, like, he wasn't signed. As soon as they started building him up to be the person to fight Seth at Mania, I'm like, he's re-signed.
Yeah.
It's the same thing of how, like, when people try to play into the, like, oh, well, MJF isn't signed and all that, and it's like, no, he's signed. Because there's no way
I'm going to hold that hope,
Tony Khan would and you can hold that hope all you want. But, like, there's no way that you let someone actively talk about leaving your company live on your show for, like, 2 years without knowing they're locked down.
Is it bad of me to say I could see it more for AEW because out of the two wrestling promotions, if you asked me who's got the weakest backbone, I would say Tony Khan.
Oh, by far it's Tony.
Yeah. Like I could see him having such a weak backbone to where it's like he lets you do it even though.
Yeah, it's the only counterpoint to that is Tony has been shown, like, he will step in when he has to. Mind you, there's a lot of times someone needs to do that for Tony and be like, Tony,
Like when he's
Put
wearing
Twitter
a
down.
fur hat and talking about how they're the safest company in the biz.
Yeah, like that. Like
let's not say things we can't take back, Tony.
When we have Chris NDA Jericho on the roster.
NDA Jericho.
Yeah, but like when we have that running around, but like, I mean, it's also at the same time, and I'm not trying to be an AEW defender because I've talked about in the Discord, I am more of a WWE fan. Yeah. I come off like an AEW fanboy because I'm the only human being that defends them in the Discord.
The boy who we played his clip said you like the other company.
Yeah. Because, someone paid him to say the other company, and then also told him the wrong sports team. Well, he told him the right
he told him the right sports team. He just screwed
He told him the right sports team. He just couldn't remember it when
he screwed it up because he's still in developmental.
Yeah. Well, like, for instance, to me, like, I am more of a WWE fan. Mm-hmm. I will accept criticism of AEW if it's actual criticism.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise for people out there when you say, like, oh, constructive criticism. It's like, okay, what's your constructive criticism? If your constructive criticism is your show sucks,
that's not constructive.
It's not constructive.
Is it bad?
It's not even criticism.
Is it bad that I just think commentary for them for Dynamite should just be Taz and Shivani?
I think it should be, I forget what his name is. I think it's Kevin Kelly. I think it should be Kevin Kelly, Taz, and Shivani.
Okay. Because you and I are on the same page. We can't stand Excalibur.
Yeah.
He bugs me.
I'm getting fine with Excalibur. The only thing is, to me, I explain it this way. Mm-hmm. He does the same thing that, like, and I use this as an example, and it may not make sense to some people, some it may. He does, like, sort of the same thing that Michael Cole does. Mm-hmm. And it's a thing that bothers me with WWE storytelling, of where, like, I've talked about this before, maybe not on the show or even in the Discord, but I know I've talked about it with people. Mm-hmm. Like, with AEW storytelling, they expect you to use, I'm going to sound like I'm being an ant. They expect you to, like, okay, use your common sense, buddy. All right, we've mentioned this before. Like, to me, I don't like when if someone debuts and, like, they rattle off all their stuff, it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, you could just do that in a promo, or, like, you could just have, like, a hype package or something for them. Mm-hmm. I don't like that Excalibur over-explains every move. It's the same way that I don't like when Michael Cole spoon-feeds me the story happening on screen, where he's like, all right, dummies, sit in your high chair. You're a baby, I'm going to feed you what's happening. So the tribal chief is Roman, and it's like, okay, I know he's Samoan, I know. Like,
The Rock comes out, oh, it's The Rock, it's Roman's cousin.
I would never know. I would never know he's Samoan or that he's The Rock. When it says The Rock behind him on the big LED screen, that reads The Rock.
The Rock.
Like, I would never know. Like, that's what I mean. I don't like when commentators over-explain things. It's like, I don't want to be spoon-fed, like, every little bit of information. Because, one, I'm an adult. I can use my brain. Like, I can't do that. I'm a man. I'm 40. I can't do that. I'm not even 40 yet.
I'm 40. I'm close. I'm about 6 years off.
Yeah. So, like, I'm, 17 years off? So, I'm not close enough yet.
You're 23?
Yeah, gonna be 24 this year.
Man, you're old.
Yeah, I know.
You're older than...
Every time
I just always, like... So, here's the problem with me. You... Jake, all the ones that are like older than Dave and I that I talk to, in my mind, you guys just never age. Like, I remember I was talking to my girlfriend once. She's like, how old is your friend? I'm like, well, I know he was talking once about how his like 21st birthday come out. He's got to be like, at least he's 21. Like, I'm like 21, 22.
Yeah. Hey, so there you guys go. Now you got the Soapy lore. Now I'm 23, turning 24 this year.
Man, you and I
are getting close to that age of 25 and onward where I just start getting new updates that just, like, something doesn't work now.
I'm already there, bud. I'm already there.
Yeah, I'm going to hit 25. I'm going to stand up there like, ooh, actually, don't do that.
I'm just glad that, like... I'm just glad it's not, like, my back. And, like, sometimes I'll get some, like, weird popping in my knees. But it's nothing to where it's, like, huge pain. And maybe that's because I never did like a sport or anything. And I was sitting down in my chair, drinking Mountain Dew, playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I mean, I already kind of have it with my shoulder because
Mm-hmm.
it's the shoulder it's my collarbone that got broken.
It got hurt when you were wrestling.
Yeah, when I got power bombed directly on my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Because mind you, for those of you, I mean, if you want to see how large of a human being I am, all you have to do is just watch the video we recorded in hell, aka Dave's basement.
Yeah.
I'm a rotund man. Mind you, I wasn't as rotund in high school.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know how much trouble I can get into if I talk about that I legally,
I mean,
air quotes, legally, went to a wrestling school when I wasn't technically legal age to go to a wrestling school.
You're not mentioning the wrestling school.
Yeah. I went to a school for wrestling. May have lied about my age.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's on you, not on them.
Happens. Yeah.
A lot of people did, though. Hey,
Well,
Jordan Gray started wrestling when she was 14.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some states are more lenient about it. I think Michigan was one of the ones that, like, there's a certain age limit you have to be.
Usually it's like 16.
Yeah, it's like 16 to 18 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I got power bomb. The guy picked me up for a power bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I know how to take these.
I know how to
Until the guy turned to me, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, I don't know how to take this.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, and instead of, landing flat on my back, all of my weight on my body landed on my collarbone. Yeah. No, something was wrong pretty quickly. It's not one of those, like, guys, the adrenaline kicked and I didn't feel anything. No, I cried like a little baby on that mat until someone was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm crying like a baby. No, I am not fine.
You didn't have adrenaline in your soul?
Oh, and it was not something Cody wrote.
Every fight was not out of control?
Yeah, I was not doing it to get them on their feet or get them off their feet.
The crowd was here, about to blow, ready for you to start the show?
They were not. They were not there ready for that at all.
The curtain lights come up above. Whoa!
And they all showed up to watch me explode my collarbone.
Oh.
I'm like, no. Like that's the thing. Just... the second my collarbone got hurt, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not cut out for this.
Maybe
Maybe
I don't want to be a wrestler.
I'm like, you know what? If that's going to happen to me a lot, no. I don't think so. Not built for this.
Oh, well, Soapy. Actually, since I said well, play one more time, because he actually says the word well.
Yep. Alright, sorry, I gotta get to it.
Well, Soapy Muffin.
Well, Soapy Muffin. Looks like that's where we're going to end the podcast today. A little lengthy of a podcast today. How long do you think we went?
I'm going to say an hour and a half.
Yeah, undershot. It's about an hour 13, I think. I think we're sitting an hour 13. I did not expect the Damian stuff to be like 40 minutes. That was a great conversation we had. This is where you guys come in, obviously. Let us know down below what you guys think. Hit that sub button if you love the podcast. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you want to support us, Patreon link is down below. You can also join the greatest community in the universe. Talk with all of us, like myself, like Soapy, like Retro, like Jake, all of our wrestling chatters in the wrestling chat in the Discord down below. That is for free. Click the link. As for Soapy, thank you, brother man, for for another podcast. Oh yeah, I'm switching up on you, macho man.
Well, yes, we're gonna be out of here, but we'll be back like in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks,
2
brother.
weeks from this recording?
Brother, we're going to be back in 2 weeks. Make sure to say your prayers and eat your vitamins, brother. Because you got to do it, brother.
Podcast in a year, brother.
Or else I'm going to pull you out. Brother. I'm going to pull you out of the wreckage of a car with my NWO shirt on, brother.
That is still the funniest tweet I've seen in so long. That tweet is so
Imagine
funny.
being in a car
Nothing
crash.
will ever top that.
You're close to death, ears ringing, your vision comes back and you see Hulk Hogan reaching out in an NWO shirt. Grab my hand, brother.
Like, that tweet is still so good.
I'm here to save you, brother.
Made for.
But that's going to do it.
The internet's made for.
That's going to do it for Heel Talk. Thank you guys for everything you do. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
As always, we'd like to thank the people who make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you'd like to become a patron, click the link in the description below, and if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Entertainment, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.